Hey guys, we are West Street Children, and we're going to do something a little different on this channel than we've been doing in the past. We're actually going to do an album review, and this is going to be the first one on the channel. There might be more, but we want to give you guys a chance to know us a little bit better as people, as musicians, as a band. So we just want to show you what's influenced us over the years. First up, Green Day. As you can probably tell if you've seen this channel at all, Green Day, big influence on us and has been for a long time, and we'll jump into that shortly. But we'll kick it off with the first album review of the channel with Saviors, the new album by Green Day released a month ago today.
Yeah, so like Mark said, this is a new video for us, and we're really excited to kick it off with a band that means so much to us and has for such a long time. And I think we discussed this, and we're gonna probably do a whole separate video on this and just like how we discovered Green Day and why exactly they do mean so much to us and how they have influenced us and our music and just our lives in another video. But just like a quick, I guess, summary or quick Cole's Notes version is, Green Day entered our lives about 20 years ago now. And we were 13 years old, I believe. Is that right? 13?
Yeah, 12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah, it was right when American Idiot came out, and Boulevard of Broken Dreams was the first song we heard by them. But the main reason I think, and this is something I just kind of discovered recently or thought about recently, why does this band evoke such emotion in us and bring such passion to us? And I think it's because we were into music before, but it was more so just like listening music. It wasn't really anything significant in terms of emotion. But I think what Green Day did was, for us, it was the first music we've ever heard that elicited an emotional response in us. I think that was what's so powerful with Green Day, is that it's this music that moved us in just more than like a dancing thing. And we'll probably cover that in another video, like I said, but it brought a different element to music for us, and it almost flipped a light switch or lit a fire, so to speak. And yeah, really just changed our outlook on music and on life and just on lifestyle in general. So yeah, this is a fun video for us, and we're excited to do a lot more like this. But yeah, I don't want to stall too much. Let's just jump right into a Saviors album review. So yeah, I think the first thing to just cover is, like you said, it's been a month since Saviors came out, but I want to know what your first impressions were of the album. And this is, I guess, before we even jump into that, this is something Mark and I have just kind of off and on discussed over the last month, of just like what we thought of certain songs, but we've never actually sat down like this and discussed the album in full. So we're like really excited to do this just for that alone. But ever since, I guess, American Idiot, we've always listened to Green Day albums together in person. So this was a special one because we actually bought the vinyl, and that was the first way we listened to Saviors, was together in a room on vinyl. So given that, the sound quality is a little different on vinyl, it's the analog versus digital. The record player is actually sitting right up there on the shelf. The speaker in there is not, I wouldn't say, the greatest speaker in the world by any means, but given all that, what were your kind of first impressions of Saviors?
Well, yeah, I mean, we listened to it. We listened to the clips of it that Green Day put out. I think it was like 2 or 3 days, maybe before the album came out. They flooded the Instagram with clips of like all their songs, and I think we listened to all but two of them. We weren't going to listen to any first, and then we listened to everyone, I think, except Fancy Sauce and Saviors. And I'm glad we did, because when you get like hit in the face with 15 brand new, well, I guess it would be like 14 or 13 brand new songs. We heard The American Dream is Killing Me and Look Ma No Brains, and also well, I guess we didn't hear Bobby Socks or Dilemma, yeah, I guess too. And we heard Bobby Socks like the night before we listened to it. But yeah, hearing like all those new songs come at you all at once is just like it's a barrage of emotion. Like you just don't know which way the album's gonna go. You don't know which way the songs are gonna go. You don't know what kind of angle they're shooting for. And Green Day always shoot different angles. So like we never really knew, or I never knew what angle the album was gonna start taking or what path it was gonna start taking. Um, so we listened to those clips of about like 10 or 11 songs when Green Day released them a few days before. And like I said, I'm really glad we did because it really gave like kind of a little bit of a feel of like, okay, this is the direction they're going with it when it going with this album. And then it was like you're able to kind of sit back and be like, oh yeah, I kind of recognize that tune or a little bit from this from listening to that like 10-second clip. So it was really good in that sense because it gave us a little bit of familiarity with it. But yeah, upon first listen, it was like it was again like that flood of emotion of like, oh, this is my favorite song. Actually, no, this is probably not going to be my favorite song, or this is going to be my favorite song. And I find it like really tough to do that with albums on the first listen. It's like hard to listen to a song once and be like, oh, I like it or I don't like it. You definitely had to listen to the song over and over again. Which is why I hate when people like listen to an album once and give a review on it because you definitely need to listen to it many, many times. But upon first listen, like there was a lot of tracks that stood out to me. Bobby Socks was obviously one that really stood out. Um, what else do they have? Like Coma City, I found really stood out just in terms of like the outro of that one. It was just like so many things going on all at once. Susie Chapstick stood out as like a really unique kind of track that doesn't sound like anything Green Day have really released before. Corvette Summer sounded like rock and roll, like pure rock and roll, which is like really unique. And then like sounds like Father to a Son were just like really deep cuts that just sounded like again nothing how the rest of the album sounded. So there's a lot of songs that really just popped out at me like, whoa, this is cool, this is cool. While also staying in that like punk, fast, short songs, punk genre kind of feel of the album. So yeah, I felt like there was a few tracks that really stood out right away, and then upon further listens, I really got more into them.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to put it, is like where their music means so much to us. It's really, and those of you guys who are watching who feel the same way or have a band that is like that, when you hear so many new songs at once, it almost is like a flood of emotions, and it's really hard to just take everything in and process it. And I almost every time I listen to an album by Green Day or bands that I really, really love, it's almost like you just sit in awe for a bit and you're almost like, whoa, what just happened? And that's how I felt with this album, but times like 100. And it definitely, I agree, like it's hard. I would not have wanted to do this review a day later or the day of. I think you do need, I think it's cool to give that perspective, but I also think to truly give it an actual review, of a music and bands that you love, you do need to just have it on repeat. And we've had it on repeat for a while. But I agree, first impressions were just like very emotional, very powerful in terms of their statements with the album. And I love how it just jumped so many different directions. There was no path, but this kind of, I could sense this theme of like what it's like living in the Western world or in the US right now with social media and all this kind of stuff, and so many different, like you said, angles, which was really cool too. It wasn't just like, once I heard the American Dream is Killing Me, I actually thought that was, they were going with a political standout kind of album that's a lot like American Idiot. And then it just like completely switched when I heard Look Mono Brains like 9 days later. And then Dilemma came out and that was really different. So, and
Yeah,
then
it's almost like the American Dream is Killing Me sounded like American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown. And that was the same with me. I thought that was the direction the album was going in, which was like cool, I was fine with, but I was like, is it going to be a fully political album? And then Look Ma No Brains came in. That sounded like Dookie or like Kerplunk or something, like 2024 version of Dookie or Kerplunk. So it was like completely like kind of flipped on his head, like, okay, maybe the album's not going to go this way. And then Dilemma came out. That sounded like it could be on American Idiot or like something like that, but more raw and like the vocals were a lot more blunt and to the point.
and
And like
also
just
just even terms like less processed vocals
yeah,
too,
less processed, more just like raw, blunt to the
get
point.
produced, less produced.
Yeah, and like just talking about sobriety and everything like that. And his like alcohol problems. There's no like metaphors or similes like American Idiot has written a lot of like deeper lyrics. So I was like totally thrown for a loop with like which way is this album gonna go. And then I think we listened to the album a day later because we were flying the day of the album release, but we listened to it the day later, and so we saw Bobby Socks, the music video for that the night before we actually listened to it on the 19th, and then that was like a complete tailspin too, or a complete head spin too of like, well, okay, never mind, the album's like not going to go that way. It's like really almost like Weezer sounding style, like punky, like garage rock style thing. So yeah, so anyway, go, you can continue.
Yeah, no, that was it. Really, just first impressions. I think both of us find it hard to put into words just like what the first impressions were, because it is a month past, and also just like it was just so unique for us, because I think most other Green Day albums up to this point that we've listened to, like American Idiot, 21st Century Breakdown, Uno Dos Tre, Revolution Radio, Father of All, they all had, it's almost like looking back on them now, they had like a certain feel to them, but this was just so random in the best way.
Yeah.
I think that's what made it really hard to just grasp onto and latch onto it early on. But yeah, now it's a month later. I guess that's where we should just chat about the how we feel now, having listened to Saviors probably, I don't know, how many times did you say you listened to it?
Um, um, well, I drove from like British Columbia to Colorado, and which was like 24 hours of driving, and I just had that album on repeat basically the whole way. I listened to it at the gym. I listened to it driving in the car. I just listened to it when I'm at home. I wouldn't be able to tell you like how many times I've listened to it already. Um, it's got to be like 4 or 5 dozen at least.
Yeah, like I say I at least do once or twice a day. It's been whatever 30 days, so yeah, it's 10 plus like all the times we listened to the singles before the album came out for the last few months. So yeah, I mean this is I guess probably the best way to take it now, and just really give a review of each song, not in depth. I'm sure we probably could both go in depth a lot with each song and things that mean a lot to us, but I think that's probably the best way to do it, is just go track by track. But Mark and I were discussing before, and we thought it might be cool to list in order, not just go through the tracks one by one, like in their order that they're on the album, but give our top five, or maybe like top, I guess do the whole 15. We both wrote out like our order of our favorite song to our favorite song, because I don't think there's any song in the album. There's no song in the album right now that I've skipped.
Yeah.
I'll just let it play through, and even after a month, I don't skip through any songs. So that's a really good sign too. I guess we can just go for it. I think we should just do one for one and explain
Yeah.
why we love the song.
Yeah, I think we should do like the all 15, because I think one thing that stands out with this album is that if someone were to say like, listen to American Idiot, for example, and you say, give me a track off American Idiot that gives me an idea of like what this album sounds like. Like you could say American Idiot, you could say Holiday, like Jesus of
Yeah.
Suburbia. Same with Dookie, you could say Basket Case. Like there's an every album, Revolution Radio, you could say Revolution Radio, or like Bang Bang. I feel like this album, like there's no one single song that stands out as like this is the title track for the album, and every song sounds like this. So the album's like we'll just rate this song, or rate like the single, or the title track or something, and that's kind of the rating for the album. I think you kind of need to go through every song one by one and rate, and like we can give our opinions as well.
That's a really good point. Yeah, there's no like album defining song on this, or even songs. Like you wouldn't be able to pick one or two or three that would be like, hey, this is what I would show somebody, to show them what this whole album sounds like, which is really cool in my opinion. So, and really unique for Green Day too, to have that type of element to an album. And I agree with Billy Joe on this one. Like this is, in my opinion, one of their best, if not their best albums ever in their career, which is crazy. And I feel very lucky that we're able to, experience it for the first time. And not have found Green Day 10 years from now and this be like an older album, to be alive and listening to this for the first time with everyone. So
I think it is one that's going to age really well too. Like it's going to be
yeah.
like American Idiot, or like Dookie is going to age really well. So
Yeah. So let's just go back and forth and just give a little review on each song. And they're not going to be in the order that they are in the album. This is first to 15. our order of probably at this point our favorites, and I think
Yeah.
it's fair to say at this point because honestly, I feel like in a month you ask us again, this list could be like thrown into a blender and come out in a completely different way. So,
Yeah.
and it already has changed multiple times for me. Um, so yeah, you can go first.
Okay. So I guess we'll start from 15 and work our way up to number one.
Okay,
Like
we can do
as
that.
like kind of not least favorite, but like, go from 15 to one just so like it ends off with our number one. Yeah, I would say like I wouldn't say last, and it's really hard because like you said, it's almost like that blender thing where it's like I don't know if this is, but just based on like listening over and over and over, if I had to put one song towards the bottom, it would probably be Living in the 20s. I still really love the song, obviously. It's just it is more like the Hives or like really heavier punk rock. Still love it, but yeah, that's what I would go with like for number 15.
And just as a quick side note, Mark and I didn't exchange lists beforehand, so it's like cool to hear. Just even right now for me, like to hear because we've shared Green Day as a passion our whole lives, so it's cool to kind of go through this uh, with all you guys too, and just hear it from him and hear why he chose certain songs. And it's going to be interesting to see how close our lists are, and also like how different they might be, especially as we get probably closer to the top. But yeah, again, no songs I've ever skipped, and I really find it hard to say this is my least favorite song because I don't honestly don't have a least favorite song on this album. And I'm definitely partial to Green Day, but again, like I truly don't. I'm just being honest, like I don't have a least favorite song. But yeah, my number 15 was also Living in the 20s. And I honestly don't have a reason that's there. I think the biggest thing is like to me when I heard it first, I was like, oh, this kind of sounds a little bit like Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, with that kind of the guitar riff along with like the bit more of raspy, growly vocals, the same kind of song structure. Again, you write a couple hundred songs in your career, you're bound to have a couple that sound the same or very similar. But to me, it was just, um, I mean, that's all I can say. I don't really have a reason. Again, it's not like I don't like it. It's just there are other ones that I want to put a little higher.
Yeah. Okay. So number 14 I had as The American Dream is Killing Me. And I might just do 13 as well. And like because they're kind of for similar reason. Number 14 was The American Dream is Killing Me, and 13 is One Eye Bastard. I think mainly why they're towards the bottom a little more, like sort of bottom, so to speak, or like air quotes, is because again, we heard them for so long. Like The American Dream is Killing Me came out long before the album, so we just listened to it way more. That's one reason. Same with One Eye Bastard. It did come out as a single before, but I think it kind of is along the lines of like American Idiot sounding or 21st Century Breakdown sounding or even like Revolution Radio sounding. Like all both those songs could have been on those albums. And I think that's the only reason is that I'm glad Green Day didn't go with like a full-on political album or like that heavier kind of rock opera style sounding songs for the whole album because I feel like those two songs out of all of them could have been on like any of the last three albums. So like that's probably why I put them a little lower, but still like amazing songs.
Yeah, that's we're already different, but similar too. So I put Father to a Son as 14, and One Eye Bastard is 13. I'm just gonna go right to 12 because 12 was The American Dream is Killing Me for me. And I think probably the same reason for One Eye Bastard and The American Dream is Killing Me, maybe even Father to a Son. I think that's Father to a Son is a little more raw than something like 21 Guns or Ordinary World, like their other acousticy songs, because even the strumming pattern of the guitar, you can hear it's like more, it's less produced, less like effects on it. There might be like a little bit of reverb and the guitar, it just kind of sounds like you're sitting in a room with someone strumming the guitar as opposed to like overly produced guitars. But I think I try to be as fair as possible. I think you're right. Like listening to The American Dream is Killing Me for like 3 months. We saw them play the song live at when we were young. Same with like Look Mono Brains. We heard that song for so long. Dilemma, we heard that song for so long. It'd be interesting to do this list without hearing any single song for like I think it would change. But I agree, like some of these kind of sound a little bit more like they could possibly exist on other albums. I think that's why maybe the everything from 11 up has their spot there because I think the rest don't really sound like they could belong on another album, which is really cool. But I love that they do that, right? They have like at least 4 or 5, 6 songs that you kind of could put them like Dookie, Nimrod, American Idiot, 21st Century Breakdown, and then they have like 10 songs, 9 or 10 songs that are like, this is completely new. So like,
Yeah.
how can you hate this album if you're a Green Day fan? Because it's got everything. So that would be my 14, 13, 12. I guess I'll just jump into 11 and 10.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm really interested in both of our picks. 11 for me was Susie Chapstick. And again, I think we're just gonna, it's probably better just to say why we love this song, because I don't
Yeah.
think there's any reason why we don't like them. But yeah, Susie Chapstick is just, I think that one's gonna grow on me more and more as I listen to it. It already has like moved way up the list as I listen to it more and more. I love the ba ba da da ba ba, like that sounds just beautiful. Um, but yeah, and then number 10 for me was Corvette Summer. And this one probably even started higher on the list, and just other songs like listening to it more and more kind of bumped down. Cowbell is just so unique and new for Green Day. I'm glad they put that. That really makes that song, as Cowbell usually does, really sticks out in a song. But yeah, I love the guitar riff in Corvette Summer. I love I guess this the simplicity of the lyrics too in the whole album. Like you mentioned it already, but this album is really cool in the fact that they don't rely on a bunch of, like Billy Joe doesn't rely on a bunch of metaphors and similes and really deep writing. It's like very to the point lyrics, and every single song is like that, where it's like, this is what I'm saying. You don't really need to read into it too much because it is what it is. So yeah, 11 Susie Chapstick, 10 Corvette Summer.
Cool. Yeah. Same. I had 12. 12 is Corvette Summer, 11 is Look Ma No Brains, and 10 is Susie Chapstick. Again, like Look Ma No Brains, I think it only fell a little lower because I heard it so often leading up to the album, but it's like an amazing song, so well written. Like just the image that that song portrays is really, really fun. And the title is so creative. There's a lot of creative lyrics, like I'm with stupid, but I'm all by myself. Like that's a
Yeah.
um, really cool play on like a those t-shirts and everything that you say I'm with stupid. It's just really cool, like lyrically done. But again, like I just heard it so many times. Um, so yeah, and then 10 choose Susie Chapstick. Same with you. It started higher, but just after listening so many times, it's like there's so many other good songs. Um, so I'll just do the next couple. I had 9 as Goodnight Adeline. What was your 9? Let's just go back and forth.
Yeah, Coma City was my number 9, and this one was one that could have easily been a lot higher. I think the end of this one's really cool because to me it reminds me of The Who.
Yeah.
That do 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 do, that
Yeah.
guitar in the background, just everything kind of sounds chaotic. It reminds me of a lot of some of the Who's songs, which we know the
That,
Who.
that drum fill at the end too, like that
Yeah,
really long drum fill. I
yeah.
actually had so my number 9 was Goodnight Adeline, and then 8 was Coma City.
And 8
Uh,
for me was Goodnight Adeline.
so yeah, reversed. Um,
But actually, Goodnight Adeline was honestly almost top 5 for me, and that's how close this list is right now. Like number 8 could have been someone in the top 5.
yeah.
So yeah. Oh, let me
What
just,
about okay, 7?
number
What do you
7 for me was Saviors, and this was one that actually again could have been like 1, 2, or 3. Like I love this song so much. I love the simplicity of the chorus, of the lyrics. I love the kind of the crescendo of the melody, like in the chorus, saviors, da, 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 like just that kind of, and the really powerful vocals. This sounds like it could be like a 21st Century Breakdown song too, like, but also kind of not.
Mhm.
I love this song so much.
Yeah. Okay.
What was
Yeah,
number?
7. 7. I actually had 1981, but I'm gonna do like a um an on the spot switch change up here and do because I'm going to switch number 6 and 7. So because after I learned the bass to 1981, it's definitely rising up in the ranks. So 7, I'm going to say Father to a Son, and then 6 1981, just because it's such a fun song to play on bass.
What
And
made
it's
you
just
put Father to a Son that high? Because like that was probably our biggest discrepancy right now.
I just think like the string arrangement is really really nice in it too, and just
Yeah,
again like how raw the vocals are. It's just like so raw. Like it sounds like it's not overproduced at all. It's just really simple. And then like the string arrangement. I don't know if you saw that video that they uploaded with like showing the strings being played
yeah,
and how it
and
follows the melody and stuff. It's like just hearing that. If you listen to the strings when you're listening to it, it's like and really try to listen to like the strings in the end of the courses or like the last courses and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like really powerful. So
You make me,
um
yeah. It's funny because now I feel like I want to change, put that one like probably top five, and I put it at like 14. I don't know how that song ended up there because now I'm like thinking of that one more and the deepness of the lyrics too, and just how like it's written to his sons and he lost his father. It's such, yeah. So that this might change. This one might go 8, and everything else bumped down. Um, yeah, because that was you convinced me, even though you weren't trying to.
okay, so top five.
Okay, so yeah, Saviors was number 7. Number 6 for me was Look Ma No Brains,
Oh
and
yeah.
almost landed top 5 too. I was just trying not to be like trying to be partial, impartial. Like, okay, I know I heard this song probably 100 more times than the others, and I watched them play the song live today, actually on YouTube, and was just at the Irving Plaza, and just like it's such a catchy song, such a danceable song, and the crowd was into it, even though it's a newer song. So like, I know Billy Joe loves it too, and the band just seems like they really love playing this song, and they
Yeah.
play it twice a couple shows too. So I love this song. I love the Nimrod-esque of it.
Yep.
So top 5. So
Okay.
number 5 for me was Strange Days Are Here to Stay.
Nice. Number five for me was Saviors. I just like more I listen to that one, it's just like really become a favorite of mine. Just the staticky vocals in the verses, and then like the really powerful chorus,
Yeah.
and then how it like, stops and then it comes back in with the chorus again. I think that's just really well laid out song, and just like simple like verse, chorus, bridge. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, and then chorus, chorus, outro. It's like a standard song, but it's really well done.
Yeah,
Um,
Strange Days Are Here to Stay. Like that one honestly could be number 1 or 2 for me. Like this is how close the top 5 are for real. Like, but yeah, the lyrics of this one are probably some of my favorite lyrics on the album. Love the lyrics of that song.
Number four.
Stop, like strange days are here to stay. I love that when they do that too. Number 4 for me was Dilemma. Again, could have been number 1. And I think the only reason it's there is because I heard it so many times. But I remember telling you when the song first came out, this is probably going to be one of my favorite Green Day songs ever. And like
Yeah.
when I think of that, I think of like Jesus Suburbia, What's Her Name, some of the like older tracks and stuff. But I was like, this is going to be right up there. So it could switch, but Dilemma, definitely one of my favorite Green Day songs of all time.
Yeah, and then these top five or four or five like could switch in any order. Four, I had Dilemma as well.
Yeah,
Same thing. If I had heard it and saw the music video, like, and you asked me like right after, like, and I heard everything else, I probably would say Dilemma is number one.
the
But
guitars are just so powerful in that song, and the bass and like the lyrics are so straight to the point. You know what he's saying. Really powerful song lyrically too.
yeah. Okay, number three, I had actually Strange Days Are Here to Stay. It's probably one of my favorite. It was actually number two at one point, almost one. But yeah, really, really good song. Everything like that stop in the bridge, just like so powerful. So, and the lyrics are really
Talking
fun
about
too.
like Bowie died and the Blob, Return of the Blob, and wearing masks. Like everything in that song just is so it hits so hard on every single level. So again, that one, yeah, could have been up higher too. So number 3 for me is Fancy Sauce. This is hard to put at number 3 because it was number 1 at one point. Um, I just love the guitars. I love the little Glock. Yeah, I love the little Glock in the background. I love um the lyrics. I think probably again one of my favorite songs lyrically in the whole album. I just love it. To me, it reminds me of like someone actually sitting in like a straitjacket and just
Yeah,
like almost singing to themselves, and just like that's kind of what the song sounds like. It's just you're going crazy in this like current state of the world, and yeah, it just reminds me of someone like rocking back and forth in a straitjacket singing the song to themselves. I love like the lines, I'm not famous. It's almost like accusatory, like I'm not the one that's famous, you're the one that's famous. I'm not the one that's crazy, you're the one that's crazy. It's like really well done lyrically. So
yeah,
that was number 3.
yeah. Number two, that's what I had as number two, Fancy Sauce, for the exact same reasons. I won't repeat it, but just like so fun, and even like the that little like how the bass and guitar both like do the same thing. It's just like really, really well done. And then the outro is just like so chaotic and so many things going on. It's
Yeah.
just really cool.
Yeah, yeah, so many things you could say about that song that are so well done. I hope they come with a video for that one or do something with that one, and it doesn't just remain as this like epic outro. And really good song to put last too. Love Fancy Sauce. And then number 2 for me was 1981, which is probably our other biggest discrepancy in this. Just love the simplicity of the again Nimrod Dookie esque of it. I love the bass and you're gonna do a cover of this one and upload it. I just love the bass, the bridge, like the lyrics, the way the song is just super short and to the point. It's not overdone. They don't sing the same thing like 100 times. It's just really quick and two and a half or under 2.5 minutes and it's done. So 1981 was number 2 for me.
I guess we both had the same number one then, right? Bobby Socks.
Sucks, yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. And I mean, there's so many reasons. Just the emotion behind the song, how it's about love in any single form. Like friendships, lovers, boyfriend, girlfriend, it doesn't matter. It's like love in all forms. And then just like the way that style of song was written in, and then also like Billy Joe experimenting with that like, screaming for the
Yeah.
whole course is just like, and then the verse is so quiet and mellow, and it's just, and then the bridge and the video really adds to it too. Like, how they're
Sure.
like, Mike and Billy kind of hugging in that middle part and like singing
Yeah.
together and same
In
mic.
the
It's just like,
backyard, like
yeah,
that's how they heard it, right? Like playing in backyards.
yeah, like it all just adds up to make it probably my number one favorite.
Yeah, and this
But
is
again,
probably gonna go down as like one of my all-time favorites of Green Day too. It's just so, and the lyrics simple but effective, like really, really well done.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think we could again go into all these more, but we'll probably wrap it up there. I'd love to know, or we would like if you guys are as big as Green Day fans as us, how do you rank this album? And I'm sure this will change over time for us. It might be cool to revisit this in like 6 months' time and just see how the rankings have changed. Because we have, like, I have it written down in my notes. So I'm gonna keep that and just see if that holds true like 6 months later. And yeah, now Mark and I just like have been learning all the songs on guitar, and I'm sure we'll be throwing up more covers. We already have a couple up, but these are just fun songs to play, fun songs to listen to, fun songs to sing to. And yeah, I just hope they play a lot of these songs and the tour this summer. So yeah, that will probably do it. Savior's absolute 10 out of 10 on vinyl, digital, whatever, get it. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say, but
yeah. I mean, we can save it for another video, but definitely, I would say as a spoiler, like one of my favorite all-time favorite Green Day albums,
yeah,
which is tough to say, but it is. It ranks up there as probably number one. So, yeah, this was fun. Let's. I guess we can wrap it up.
yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Check out our other covers and videos. We'll pop them up somewhere. And yeah, subscribe for more, like it. And oh, one other quick question. Where would you put Fever?
Oh, that was a good one too. I probably would put it somewhere like
In the
eight,
middle?
9. Yeah, like somewhere in that area.
Cool. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Yeah, thanks for everyone who watched, and we'll see you soon.
I guess.